So we will do a short meditation before we start our talk. You may sit in a comfortable sitting position. Adopt the meditation posture. Back of your right palm is to be placed on left palm. Keep your body in upright position. Close your eyes and let your body relax. Let yourself breathe in and out naturally. Pay attention to your own breath. Mindfully breathe in, mindfully breathe out. Whenever your mind runs away, bring it back. Establish the mindfulness again and again. You deserve compassion. You deserve kindness, goodwill, friendship, and all the success in this world. Visualize yourself that you are sitting here with your fellow Dhamma friends with so much compassion and kindness towards yourself. Wish yourself peace and happiness. Keep on repeating and radiating boundless love and compassion towards yourself. May I be free from worries. May I be free from sufferings. May I be free from hatred and enmity. May I be well. May I be happy. Your parents started to love you even before you are born to the world. They dedicated their lives for your well-being and happiness. They brought you up, educated you, and provided you whatever they could in life. Let's wish them peace, happiness, and all the well-beings in this world. My beloved mother, my beloved father, may both you be free from worries. May both you be free from sufferings. May both you be free from hatred and enmity. May you be well. May you be happy. In this society, you are not left alone. You are supported by many people. They help you in different ways. Your relatives, friends, well-wishers, they all support you, help you in different ways. Let's wish them peace, happiness, and all the success in their lives. My brothers and sisters, my relatives and friends, my teachers and well-wishers, may they all be free from worries. May they all be free from sufferings. May they all be free from hatred and enmity. May they all be well. May they all be happy. Human defilements are the root causes of human sufferings and miseries. We create a lot of unhappiness, a lot of problems because of our own defilements. Hatred, ill will, jealousy, anger, cruelty, resentment, excessive greed, attachment, and such defilements, they create a lot of miseries. Human beings go to the extent to kill each other. They create war and violence because of these defilements. If humankind were to cultivate loving kindness, compassion, goodwill, friendship, and such remarkable virtues will lead to peace, happiness, and success of humankind. Let's wish all the human beings be free from these destructive defilements. Let's wish all of them to be peaceful, happy, and joyful. My fellow Dhamma brothers and sisters who are sitting with me in this shrine, my fellow brothers and sisters in Singapore, those who are living in neighboring countries, all the people who live in Asia, and all the human beings who live in this world, may they all be free from worries. May they all be free from sufferings. May they all be free from hatred and enmity. May they all be well. May they all be happy. In this vast universe, we are not left alone. There are many other living beings who live in different realms of existence. Human beings, animals, as well as various other beings who live in different realms of existence. We all are interrelated. We are going on in this cycle of existence between birth and death without an end. Let's wish all these beings to be free from all the negative, destructive, unwholesome types of defilements, so they all will be peaceful and happy. Those living beings who live on the ground, those who live in the water, those who live in the outer space, those who are having gross level physical bodies, or those who are having subtle level astral bodies, those who live near or far, big or small, all the kinds of living beings who live in this world existence, may they all be free from worries. May they all be free from sufferings. May they all be free from hatred and enmity. May they all be well. May they all be happy. May all the living beings in this world existence be free from worries and sufferings. Be well, be happy. May they all attain bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu. dispassion, compassion, and wisdom. Before I proceed with this talk, I would like to say a few words about Buddhism, just to prevent misunderstanding and misinterpretation of the teachings of the Buddha. When we come to the Dhamma, we need to come to the Dhamma with right understanding, right attitude. We need to understand the entire teachings of the Buddha in its true way, in its right angle. Buddhism is a message of happiness. Buddha teaches the Dhamma to achieve happiness in 3 successive stages. First stage, he teaches the Dhamma to achieve well-being and happiness in this life itself, in mundane aspect. Buddha teaches us how to achieve well-being and happiness in our day-to-day life. Through his social teachings, he encouraged human beings to behave in such a way that they will create wholesome conditions for everyone to be happy. So he teaches how to achieve economic prosperity in a wholesome way, how to lead a happy, joyful married life as couples, how we should bring up our children in wholesome way as parents, and how we should take care of our parents and children and our relatives, colleagues with understanding, how we should run the countries, how we can have people-friendly governments. He teaches how to have social integrity, peace, happiness, and joy here and now. So these teachings related to how to achieve happiness while enjoying sensual pleasure as ordinary human beings in a wholesome way. This is first category of teachings. Second category of teaching is related to the happiness and well-being that we can achieve even after the death. So Buddha says this is not the only life. This is just only one life of many. After the death, we will be born again. So Buddha teaches in such a way that we need to focus, target to be born in pleasurable, favorable realms so we can enjoy bliss and happiness. So as Buddhists, you can wish to be born in human realm, or you can wish to be born in divine realm as divine beings. So the second types of teachings comes how we can achieve fortunate rebirth in this process of birth and death cycle in time to come. And here Buddha encouraged meritorious actions, wholesome actions. He encouraged human beings to do those actions which are socially beneficial, karmically productive, and those actions that bring peace, happiness, and well-being to everyone. Those actions which are spiritually praiseworthy. And these are the beautiful human actions that we call meritorious actions. So basically, he encouraged human beings to uphold righteous principles, ethics, and not to do evil, but to do good. And he encouraged us to do various kind of wholesome actions, charity actions that lead to welfare and happiness of multitude in the society. He encouraged us to practice meditation. So here the second category of teachings included how to achieve well-being and happiness after the death in this cycle of existence. These two types of teachings cover the mundane aspects of the teachings. So here we enjoy sense pleasure, we gratify our sensual craving, and at the same time we achieve bliss and happiness in a wholesome way in this life as well as in many lives to come. Third type of teachings are related to how to achieve ultimate bliss and happiness, perfect bliss and happiness, which is known as Nibbana. This is the ultimate goal of all the Buddhist practice. When it comes to achieving ultimate bliss and happiness, enlightenment, Buddhism is world transcending. Buddhism teaches that we need to uproot craving perfectly, permanently, and irreversibly. Then only achieve the perfect bliss and happiness, unshakable deliverance of the mind. So in the ultimate sense, Buddhism teaches to uproot craving. So if you take the teachings, Buddha teaches how to achieve happiness here and now. Ditta Dhamma Sukha Hita. Buddha teaches how to achieve happiness in this long run, in cycle of existence, birth and death cycle. Samparayana Hita Sukha. Buddha also teaches how to achieve ultimate bliss and happiness. Paramatta Sukha Hita. So first two types of happiness, they are within the craving. Third type of happiness is to be achieved by destroying the craving. So today, the talk that I'm going to give is related to the third type of happiness, highest happiness. So by taking this alone, you should not misinterpret the teachings of the Buddha. Or we should not think that Buddha doesn't teach the happiness that we can achieve through sense gratification. So in order to prevent this, I had to say these few words. Now we are going to proceed here onward based on the topic given here today. The purpose of Dhamma practice is to transform the human beings to become dispassionate, compassionate, and wise human beings. Enlightened human beings, their mind is full of wisdom, full of compassion, full of dispassion. So the ultimate purpose of Dhamma practice is to transform ourselves to become compassionate, dispassionate, and wise human beings. But how can we achieve it? Like a bird in flight, maintained through its wings. In the same manner, Dhamma practice is sustained through these two opposing qualities, dispassion and compassion. When we look at them in isolation, they seem like they are two opposing qualities, because dispassion is somewhat like self-purification. You try to get rid of all the kinds of attachment. So it encourages some degree of seclusion, and you need to practice to purify yourself, to get rid of attachment and craving. On the other hand, compassion is very positive action, and it involves social activities, and very actively we engage beneficial activities for the happiness of the others, compassionate activities. So it seems like these two are two opposing qualities. But if we analyze very carefully, we will see both compassion and dispassion arise out of wisdom. So wisdom is the root cause of both genuine compassion and genuine dispassion. So this is what we are going to understand here. Now when it comes to wisdom, wisdom is defined as understanding of Four Noble Truths. Realization of the Four Noble Truths is the wisdom. Now, all of you know Four Noble Truths. That is to say, the Noble Truth of Dukkha, the Noble Truth of the origin of Dukkha, the Noble Truth of the cessation of Dukkha, and the Noble Truth of the path leading to the cessation of Dukkha. Now, the word dukkha is loosely translated into English as suffering, because we do not have a choice. There is no equivalent word that can convey the deep, profound philosophical meaning of the word dukkha. But when we use the term suffering, it's more philosophical, more profound term that we use to mean dukkha. Now, understanding of the Four Noble Truths must be done in three successive stages. In first stage, we understand the Four Noble Truths theoretically. So when we understand the Four Noble Truths theoretically, through studying the suttas, to attending the talks, through many other ways, by learning it, this is a wisdom born through learning. Suttamaya panya. Wisdom born through learning. This is very shallow. Then we also can develop the wisdom related to Four Noble Truths by deeply analyzing the Four Noble Truths in our mind, intellectually. We analyze it, scrutinize it, try to deepen our understanding. So when you, based on analytical thinking, when you study the Dhamma, and this is the wisdom that you achieve through analytical thinking, systematic thinking, wisdom born through thinking, Chintamaya Panya. But the third stage of the wisdom is the ultimate and highest. This is the wisdom that we receive through meditation. By following the Buddhist meditation of Vipassana techniques, we will understand the Four Noble Truths in ultimate sense. This is the stage that in cognitive level, deep inside us, the transformation occurs. So in cognitive level, when we realize the Four Noble Truths, we break through the delusion and we transform ourselves to become enlightened human beings. So the Four Noble Truths here is the ultimate wisdom. But we can have it in three successive stages as theoretical understanding and deep intellectual realization and cognitive level ultimate realization, which can be achieved through breaking through delusion. Now this wisdom gives birth to dispassion and compassion. So now here onward we are going to spend some time to understand how this wisdom give birth to dispassion and compassion. Second noble truth, cause of suffering. The Buddha point out it is the craving. Yayan tanha pono bhavika nandiraga sahagata tatra tatra vinandini seyatidang kamatanha bhavatanha vibhavatanha. It is this very craving that look fresh delight here, fresh delight there, that lead to rebirth, accompanied by passionate greed, which is craving for sensual pleasure, craving for becoming, and craving for non-becoming. So Buddha point out, craving is the cause of suffering. Why we suffer? It is because of craving. Dukkha arises because of craving. Now, even though we understand it theoretically, most of the time, we human beings, we fail to see it in that way. It is for a reason. Why can't we see it deeply? It's basically because our mind is originally covered with delusion and craving. Since our mind is deluded and full of craving, since the mind possessed of craving, whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever we smell, and whatever we cognize through sense faculties, we try to interpret through craving and ignorance. So in return, we perceive the world in a distorted way, not in a real way. We do not see the real world, but we will achieve distorted view of this world. That is basically Buddha called ignorance, and it's coupled with craving. Now, ordinary human beings, we think craving produces pleasure, joy. And it is true. Buddha never says no. Craving is the root cause of both pleasure and pain. But we think craving produces only pleasure. We simply ignore the pain. We want only pleasure. We do not want pain. Every single moment we are looking for pleasurable, favorable sight, sound, smells, touch, sensations to gratify ourselves. We are running after pleasure. We do not want pain. But pain also follows us. Both pleasure and pain are produced by craving. And we need to understand it. Now let's take a few examples to understand it. Don't you think that your children bring so much happiness to you? Your sons and daughters, they bring so much happiness. They bring so much joy. The Buddha says, Putta vattu manuttanang. For mother and father, sons and daughters, they are the greatest wealth. So being parents, you yourself understand, your children bring so much bliss, happiness and joy in your life. But don't they bring suffering? Your son and daughter, at the same time they bring bliss and happiness, they also create a lot of havoc, a lot of suffering, a lot of problems to you. Don't you think eating delicious foods bring you happiness, bring you satisfaction? What about eating fried stuff? All these delicious foods and drinks, no doubt they satisfy our tongue. This is called sensual pleasure. But if you do not control your craving, they also can bring you a lot of disasters, a lot of disease. Diabetic, and many other, the cholesterol and many other diseases can be caused because of the foods. Alcohol, smoking, they bring some degree of satisfaction. That's why we take alcohol. That's why we smoke. In the first place, if alcohol and they smoke in cigars or cigarettes or whatever, if they do not bring us pleasure, we will not engage. They bring pleasure. But not only pleasure, they also bring suffering. And these alcohol and cigars eventually bring a lot of suffering as forms of disease. So no matter what you consider in your life as pleasurable and favorable, they in return bring the negative side as well. What about relationship? What about relationships? This is something very close to our heart because everyone has gone through this or everyone has some degree of understanding. So now, the relationships, they bring happiness. They bring joy. They bring satisfaction. But not only that, they also bring a lot of suffering. So we need to understand, while sensual pleasure brings some degree of happiness and joy, they also bound up with suffering and miseries. We need to understand it. So let's take relationship as an example here and analyze it a little bit further. Suppose at very beginning, in your mind arise craving, desire towards another person. You wish to fall in love with that person, or you are already falling in love with that person. So it means you have desire, you have craving in your mind. At that stage when you have craving for another person, and you wish to have that person for yourself, you wish to be with that person, you crave for the touch of that person, you crave the association of that person. So day and night you are thinking of that person. So when this desire arises in your mind, and it itself is a form of suffering. This suffering is created because you have desire towards this person, but this person is not achieved, or you do not have this person. So you have the desire. When you have this desire, it arises because you lack of desired person. So this is called lacking of the desired object, and you create suffering. So now what do? You do not stop there. If you have desire, if you crave for it, you have to work for it. So now you started to chase after, run after that person. And you will try to find the ways and means how to win the heart of that person. If you are a boy, perhaps you might, go and try to meet that girl always, try to buy the flowers, try to buy the gift. You will find different ways and means to impress that person, to win the heart of that person. You will dedicate a lot of time, make a lot of effort. You will present yourself nicely, handsome way, beautiful way to impress the person. So you are starting to run after. This is called suffering of striving. You are trying to win the heart of another person. Now, in this process of striving to achieve the relationship, achieve the man or woman you wanted, In this process of striving, there are two possibilities. One possibility, you might be successful. The other possibility, you might fail. Now let's take these two in two separate occasions. Suppose while you are striving, struggling, trying your best to win the heart of the other person, and you come to a point that the other person rejects you. So when the other person rejects you, then you create the suffering. Suffering created through failure. Suffering created through rejection. So you are heartbroken. You feel so sad. You feel so miserable. You feel like whole world is lost. You feel like nobody loves you. You feel like you are left alone in this whole world. You become gloomy, moody, miserable. You might go to the extent to create a lot of miseries. Some people even go to the extent to kill themselves. And they think life is useless. And all the hopes are gone. This is a mess of suffering. What will happen if you win the heart of that person? At the moment that you win the heart of that person, you might feel so happy, so blissful, so joyful. It's like you possess the whole world. Every treasure in this world is in your hand. You will feel happy and joyful. This is true. This is happiness. This is joy. No one can deny it. So all your suffering is ended. You feel so happy and joyful. But another set of new suffering comes now. What are the new suffering arise? Now you achieve this girl or boy that you wanted to achieve, but now you are facing with new challenges. What is the challenge? You face the suffering due to fear of losing her, due to suffering caused because of protection and maintenance of this relationship. You always have fear. Now you work hard so much and you achieve this person, but you don't want to lose this person. But you always have the fear of losing. Another boy or another girl might come and take away my boy or my girl, or your ideal man or woman. So you have fear in your heart, fear of losing. Because of that fear, you started to protect. You started to find the ways and means to protect this relationship. So you always will check about the other person. Where are you? What are you doing? Why are you not home yet? With whom are you going? What are you doing? All these questions will be a reason. You will always check about the other person. Where that person goes, what does she do, and all this. Because of out of fear of losing, you have to protect. And you must make sure that nobody else interfere your relationship here. And not only that, you need to maintain the relationship. If you want to keep the relationship, you have to maintain. So you have to spend money, you have to spend your time, you have to invest your emotions in this relationship. So sometimes you have to listen hours and hours of nagging. Whether you like it or not, you have to agree sometimes. Sometimes you have to say yes, but you want to say no, but you will say yes. So in this way, you need to maintain the relationship. In order to maintain the relationship, you need to put up with these. So when you achieve the heart of desire, and then arise another problem, suffering of losing, suffering of maintenance, and suffering of protection. Then eventually, sooner or later, you will have to face the suffering of separation. It is possible, not all the relationship will remain. It is possible one of you might break up, will go with another boy or another girl. with another man or woman. When this happens, and then your heart is broken, the relationship is broken, you feel the pain of separation. And if this doesn't happen, then suppose you are, as a loving couple, remain throughout your life, but still, sooner or later, the death will come. We do not want to die, but it will come to us. When the death comes to us, and you will be separated again. So the separation will occur, whether we like it or not. So these 5 stages of suffering go through in relationship. First stage, when the desire arises in your mind, you suffer because you lack of that man or woman. So this is the suffering created through lacking of desired person. Second stage, suffering arises of striving to achieve that person. Third stage, if you fail, then suffering arises due to rejection, failure. If you succeed, then suffering arises. You have to protect, maintain, and the fear of losing. And the 5th stage, sooner or later, separation will occur. Isn't that true? So relationship bring happiness. It bring joys. It bring satisfaction. At the same time, it brings suffering and miseries. So both are true. So this is what we need to understand. So as ordinary human beings, we want only pleasurable, favorable side, but we do not want miserable side. In relationship, we want only pleasure, only pleasant side of it. This doesn't happen. So we human beings, we are caught up in this situation. What is the situation? Our ideal state and the real state that we have to put up with. This problematic situation that we are caught up is labeled as dukkha. It is not just simply suffering. It is something more than that. So apply this to anything in your life. You might see the both side of it. We have so much desire in our mind. Desire and craving. It's never ending. So look at the ordinary human being. Ordinary human beings, the only way that we know how to be happy and joyful is to satisfy our desire. But can we satisfy our desire? When you satisfy one desire, another desire arises. When you satisfy that desire, another one arises. When you satisfy that, another one arises. In this way, desire after desire, craving after craving, we need to satisfy them. We satisfy for a moment, the next moment we become unhappy. When we achieve what we want, what we desire, we feel happy, but only for a moment. Then after some time, we become bored with it, and we need something new, fresh delight. Little children, when you are given toys, and they are happy for a moment, for 1 or 2 days they will play with it, and then they want new toys. There are some guys, and one after another, they are running after the girls. They achieve one girl first, and then after that, they become bored, because in the morning see the same face, afternoon see the same face, and evening see the same face, so need a change, so you change again. So in this way, relationships change. Our desires change. We go to different foods because we need different taste. We are always changing, looking for fresh delight here, fresh delight there, just to satisfy the craving. But are we satisfied? Are we satisfied? Craving, the Buddha says, Natti raga samo aggi. Craving is like a fire. When the fire is burning, and you provide more fuel, and the fuel increase the flame, demanding flame,
the increase in flame demand more fuel. So when you satisfy your desire and more desire rise, and then you satisfy that desire, another desire rise. In this way, the fire is keep on burning. We are providing the fuel. So this is process is going on and on and on. So for the Buddha, this is not a way to be happy. So satisfying the craving in order to be happy and joyful is not a reliable way. It's not a practical way. It is not an economical way. And Buddha call it dukkha. Not satisfied, not perfect. So satisfying craving in order to achieve happiness is not ideal from the Buddha's point of view, because there's another way. Now, in one of the sutta, in Mahadukkhakkhandha Sutta, the Buddha enumerated how suffering arises because of craving. In the sutta itself, of course, Buddha recognized both pleasure and pain. And he enumerated in very detail how craving produces stress, tension, agony, sufferings in this world because of craving. Buddha compared the sensual pleasure to a meatless skeleton. He says, suppose there is a dog who is hungry and he is waiting at the butcher's shop. Then the butcher will toss a piece of bone which is meatless, smeared with blood. Then this dog will grab it and it will try to satisfy his hunger. So Buddha asks, do you think this dog will be satisfied? Will that dog be able to overcome his hunger just because he will lick this bone, or by knowing it, can it be satisfied his hunger? Definitely not. In the same manner, we human beings, we are trying to satisfy our insatiable hunger of craving. So we satisfy for a moment, then next moment we become unsatisfied again. So this is what the Buddha called dukkha. Again, the pleasure, happiness that we derive through sense gratification is not permanent. Each and every time you enjoy pleasure, and every moment that you finish enjoying it, it's gone forever. Suppose now you eat an ice cream, you feel happy, you feel joyful. But after eating the ice cream, after 5 minutes, that pleasure, that joy is gone. If you want the same pleasure, you need to eat ice cream again. Then you get that pleasure again. But what will happen if you keep on eating ice cream? After 5 ice cream, you become bored with it. You need something different then. So this is the nature of the desire. So Buddha compared sensual pleasure to a dream. He says, suppose monks, in your dream you were to see lovely parks, beautiful groves, meadows, and you are eating and drinking and dancing and singing. You are enjoying. You are so happy. But then you wake up. At wake up, you notice that is just a dream. So Buddha says, sense pleasure is also like that. Now in your life, until up to this age, 40, 50 or 60 years, you have enjoyed so much pleasure through our eye, ears, nose, tongue and body. We have enjoyed pleasure a lot in our life. So the pleasure that you enjoyed until up to today, do you have that anymore? It's already gone. What you have eaten in this morning and pleasure you achieved through food is gone. it is just a memory only. When you are young, in your prime youth, the day that you got married, you imagine how you look like, how handful you were, how handsome and beautiful you were, how joyful you were. But they are gone. Just memory. It's just a memory. It's like a dream. That's what Buddha says. It's just a dream. So sensual pleasure has been compared by the Buddha to borrowed items. He says, suppose monks, someone borrowed items from another person. He borrowed luxurious type of clothes, the very expensive type of clothes and jewelries, and he wear these clothes and jewelries and borrowed a car from somebody or a vehicle from somebody, and then he goes to a crowded place, a marketplace, and the people who seen this man will say, look at, that's a rich man. That's how rich people enjoy their wealth. Look at, that man is wearing very nice clothes, very nice watch. He's so rich. Look at the car that he is driving. In this way, people will admire the rich person. But suppose, after some time, the owners will come and take back the jewelries and clothes and all this wealth. Then, isn't that enough for that man to become unhappy and miserable? He says, yes. In the same manner, these sensual pleasures are borrowed items. They are not belong to us. Do you think beauty is belong to you? No. Beauty belongs to anicca, impermanence. The beauty will be gone when you are old. So that is changing. So beauty is changing. Health is changing. Wealth is changing. Whatever the luxurious things that we are having, they are not permanent, subject to change and disappear. So they are not belong to us. They are belong to somebody else. Who is the owner? Owner is changing. The word changing here is used to mean anicca. So simply the pleasurable, favorable conditioning that we are having, enjoying now, you should not take for granted. Don't be so attached. Understand the real nature of it. So now this situation that we are caught up, the desired situation and the real situation that we have to put up, this struggle is known as dukkha by the Buddha. Now we are come to the understanding of dispassion and compassion. How this understanding lead to dispassion and compassion? When you understand craving is a disease, it's a disease. Craving is a disease. Why? It is because of this craving. When this disease of craving exists, you need to give the treatment. What is the ordinary treatment that we give? Pleasure. So desire arises, craving arises, so you suffer, you feel uncomfortable, you feel very uncomfortable, so you need to take some medicine. So what is the medicine? Medicine is pleasure. But this is like when you have headache, you take Panadol, painkillers. When you have headache, you take painkiller, pain subsided, disappear. Then again pain will arise. You have to take again. In the same way, when the craving arises, you take pleasure to get rid of craving, so you feel happy. But the Buddha says, cure for the disease of craving is not temporary medicine of pleasure, but destroy the craving. Uproot the root cause of the disease, craving itself. The moment you uproot the craving, then your mind achieves perfect bliss and happiness, what we call nibbana. Now, when you see the craving produce little pleasure but much more suffering, when you see craving as a way, as a form of disease, when you see craving is kind of addiction, When you see, to satisfy this craving, we need to struggle a lot and we create havoc. When you understand this much of suffering is created by craving, your mind incline towards detachment, dispassion. So when you see the correlation between craving and suffering, when you really understand through your own wisdom, craving is the disease and it is the problem, and if you can get rid of it, then our mind can achieve peace. When you see it through wisdom, your mind incline towards dispassion. That is how wisdom leads to dispassion. Now you see, not only you, but other human beings are also having the same issue. All the other human beings are also wants to be happy, but the way that they are trying to be happy is not satisfactory, not reliable. The way that they are trying to be happy is by gratifying the craving, but that's not the way. So when you see all the human beings wish to be happy and they do not want to be unhappy, they do not want to be miserable, which is true. We all want to be happy, nobody wants to be miserable. When you understand this situation that the other human beings are caught up like yourself, then you arise in your mind compassion. May those beings, may other human beings who are suffering from the disease of craving, may they all be free from this disease. May they all be well. May they all be happy. May they all attain Nibbana. This is compassion. So both dispassion and compassion arise out of wisdom. Now I know this talk is a little bit boring. It is because our mind is such, our mind is dominated by craving and delusion. Whatever go against for craving, and we will put up the fight against for it. It means when you hear the words against your desire, in your mind will arise kind of aversion, kind of thinking to block it off, to screen it off. That is called delusion. In Pali, they are known as vipulasa, aversion. That's the ordinary human mind. So until we broaden and deepen our wisdom, we will not see it. So it is possible whenever you hear something against your craving, against your desire, and you are not ready to listen. Because of craving in our mind, we always choose. We choose what to see. We choose what to hear. We choose what to smell. For example, I will keep here one young lady who is at the age of 20s, very young, very beautiful, not too tall, not too fat, not too thin, not too short, not too dark, not too fair, just nice. And just next to her, I will keep another lady who is 80 years old with broken teeth, scanty hairs, wrinkled, looks so old and haggard and miserable. Got it? So now we have these two ladies here, just in front of you. I give you 10 minutes. You have only 10 minutes to look at the both. Look at the both these, you have got only 10 minutes. You tell me, you will look at which lady more time? You will look at the old lady, yes, okay, old, no more. You block off, you don't want to see anymore, enough. You will prefer to spend maybe 9 minutes watching and seeing this beautiful lady. Isn't that so? But this young girl eventually will become old, become 80 years old, will become like this. This is the truth. This old woman now, who is 80 years old, once was 20 years old. So we fail to see the truth. Why? Because of our craving and delusion. So the Buddha's teaching has a specific function. What is that function? To awaken. The Buddha is known as the awakened one. And he teaches the Dhamma to awaken the others. To awaken the others, he had to talk about this message of awakening. So Dhamma has got the function of awakening. The purpose is to awaken you from the deep sleep of ignorance in order to attain enlightenment. So perhaps you may not hear exactly what you want to hear.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, brothers and sisters, we have around half an hour for Q&A session. So, anyone have any question? Okay.
Thank you, Bhante, for the interesting talk. So, since you have spent a lot of time on relationship, I'll ask a question on relationship. Many a times we are faced with a catch-22 situation where we have to, damn if we do, damn if we don't. Okay, I'll give you an example. You love your mother very much, and you love your wife very much. But in a situation, you either have to side with your mother, or you have to side with your wife. Now, how do you use wisdom? Because if you side with your mother, your wife will hate you. If you side with your wife, your mother will hate you. If you don't side, you become neutral, both will hate you. So how do you use your wisdom to be happy and peaceful? In this case, this is a mundane relationship, not the ultimate one.
Luckily, I'm not married. I will never get married in this case. Okay? Yes, it's a very difficult situation. It's a very difficult situation, especially when you're caught up between two women. It's a very difficult situation. I can imagine. Yeah. Well, you still need to take care of your mother. You still need to take care of your wife. This is the suffering that you are put up with. The suffering to maintain the relationship, protecting it, and the fear of losing it. That's a reality. So there is no other way other than using the Dhamma. Spend reflecting the nature of the life. Craving, its pleasure, its danger. So use the opportunity to realize the first truth and the second truth. Dukkha and its cause. As an ordinary human being who is still bound up with duties as a layperson, and I believe that you cannot be a monk and run away from it. You still have to put up with the duties. So the only way to release the suffering is the Dhamma. So Dhamma reflection will help you. When you have Dhamma reflection based on the first noble truth and second noble truth, you will understand your own suffering, the situation that you are caught up with now, between your mother and your wife. And as son and the husband, you are undergoing so much pain and suffering. Understand it within yourself first. Having understood it, accept it. Because you need to accept it as a reality. This is truth that I am suffering. Then you look at your mother and look at your wife and ask the question, are they happy? Is your mother happy in the first place? Is your wife happy in the first place? Happy people will never create problems. Only unhappy people will create problems. Peaceful people will never create problems. Only people who are inside are agitated, angry, and having these defilements aroused. Unhappy people will create the problems. So, in the first place, your mother and your wife, they are suffering. They are suffering because of their own attachment. They are suffering because of their own craving. Perhaps maybe craving for this and that. Maybe your mother craved to have you for herself as son. Maybe wife wants you for herself as husband. Maybe they have their own egoism. So because of that, maybe they also create jealousy because they both want your love. And in this way, because of jealousy, because of attachment, because of egoism, look at these two women, how they create suffering. So when you see by yourself, suffering of yourself and suffering of your mother and suffering of your wife, what you should have? Compassion. Compassion for yourself. Compassion. Because if you don't have compassion for yourself, you might go to the negative extent, correct? You might do something harmful to you. You might go to the extent to torture yourself. You might go and start drinking, or you must start womanizing, thinking that is the way out of it, or you might go to the extent to use drugs and all these kind of ways and means to relieve your suffering. So you will damage your body. You will damage many other people. So you must have compassion for yourself. And if you don't have compassion for your wife and mother, you might go to the extent to do something harmful to them. You might beat them, or you might scold them, or you might behave in such a way. So first of all, first thing, having understood suffering, have compassion for yourself, have compassion towards your mother, have compassion towards your wife. Now, having established yourself in peace and this understanding with the Dhamma, you try to ease the solution, ease the situation. Try to find solution to the problem. See how you can behave in such a way to make both of them are happy and peaceful. The best and ultimate way is the Dhamma. Bring them to Buddhist fellowship.
Okay, brothers and sisters, any other question? We have an expert here for relationship problem. Okay. Sorry.
Thank you, Bante, for the talk. Bante shared about the suffering of trying to get in a relationship. So I think you need to give a solution, or else everybody will go breaking up. how to build a good relationship for the young girls and boys, because you only share of the suffering of getting a relationship.
At the very beginning of my talk, I said Buddha teach the Dhamma in 3 stages. Both 3 stages lead to achieve bliss and happiness in different level. First 2 stages related how we can achieve happiness in mundane world while satisfying our desire, while satisfying our sensual pleasure as ordinary human being, how we can have happy married life, how we can have happy relationships. Then the last one, of course, I said, by destroying the craving, there is a highest type of bliss and happiness which can achieve Nibbana. So, if any couple wish to be happy and joyful, there are plenty of teachings given by the Buddha for those who wish to have healthy relationships. There are many different suttas. In Sigalovada Sutta, Buddha specifically mentioned 10 duties, 5 from husband side, another 5 from wife side, to do towards each other in order to have mutual respect, understanding, love in the family, and have a happy married life. And there are other suttas also where Buddha encouraged genuine love, compassion, appreciative joy, and equanimity. These are known as 4 immeasurable. So any loving couple, if they were to maintain genuine love, genuine compassion, appreciation towards each other, and be happy and joyful in each other's success, and then equanimity without discriminating between the genders, between the colors, between the races, acknowledging and accepting for what you are as boyfriend and girlfriend without discrimination, and that itself lead to healthy relationship. In Patama Sutta, and we come across Nakula Pita and Nakula Mata, mother and father of Mr. Nakula. They approached the Buddha when they were very old, in fact. And husband said, he came to the Buddha, paid homage to the Buddha, and said, Venerable Sir, from the day one that I married to my wife, at that time I also was young, and my wife also was very young. From that time onward until up to now, I did not have any unpleasant thoughts towards her or actions. I wish even in my next life I can still be with her. I can still marry her in my next life. Wife also came and expressed her desire in the same way, and she also said, I wish, if possible, I would like to marry him again in my next life. So both of them wish to be united after the death, and asked the Buddha, is there a way that we can marry again in our next life? What did the Buddha say? Buddha says, yes, it is possible. It is possible, provided both husband and wife bound themselves to cultivate 4 virtues. They are known as Samasila, Samasaddha, and Samapanya, Samachaga. Here, Samasaddha means faith, equal faith. Both husband and wife must have equal faith. Here, faith is twofold. Basically, faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. This is religious faith. The other faith is faith in each other. Husband and wife, boyfriend or girlfriend, must have trust, must have faith in each other, must be honest to each other, cannot do a hanky-panky business behind the curtain, must be open in relationship. You have to be open to your husband or wife. So this is definitely very genuine, open, the concept of being faithful to your wife or towards your husband. Sama Saddha. Then Sama Sila. Both of them must uphold righteous principles. Both of them must uphold dignified human qualities. Basically refrain from evil and cultivate good. When both of them are civilized, upholding righteous principles, then that lead to decent life here and now. And moving forward, you will prevent being born in lower realm. Thirdly, Samachaga. Both of them must uphold the principle of being generous. Here, generous is twofold. One aspect of the generous, that you are generous towards the others. This is easily understood, charity. But the other aspect is be generous towards each other. Don't be so calculative. Not in material sense only, with your time, with your emotions, with everything that you can share with your wife or husband. Don't be calculative and be generous. Give to each other. Give 100% to your wife. Give 100% to your husband. So don't be calculative in whatever the way. So wholeheartedly you are generous. You dedicated for your relationship. Fourthly, you must have sama panya, wisdom. When the problems arise in a relationship, do not hurry to take quick decisions. Settle down. Talk to each other. Try to settle the issues with wisdom. And discuss the matters openly. Having discussed them openly, two of them must come to an agreement, come to a conclusion, solution, that with mutual understanding and respect. This is wisdom. So when you have these four wonderful qualities, you can have a happy life here and now as a married couple or as couples. And after that, if you wish to be reunited after the death, that is also possible. So there are teachings given by the Buddha, of course. So that's why, luckily I said there are 3 types of teachings at the beginning. Okay.
So maybe one last question so that Bande can proceed to his lunch. Anyone?
Just wondering what the Buddha say in relation in how we can develop a better relationship with our living environment. The living environment, our living environment is now in a serious state of degradation. We know that in future it is not possible to live in this planet because the planet is simply being destroyed by rampant abuse. So what does the Buddha say, and what do you personally say how we should relate? How we should forge a better relationship with the environment that we live in?
Buddha teach paticca samuppada, interdependent coexistence. We human beings, we are only one of many other species. We are not given power by anyone to destroy this planet. The belief that human beings are empowered to rule over the animals and flora and fauna, and we are given the liberty to plunder at our will this whole planet, is wrong from the Buddhist point of view. From the Buddhist point of view, human beings, among many other living beings, no doubt we are special, but we also have responsibility to take care of our environment, other living beings, and the planet at whole. When we come to the concepts of universal kingship, Chakravarti Raja, and we come across in suttas, Buddha is saying, it is the prime duty of those who are upholding power, like kings, rulers, to provide lawful protection to all human beings, towards animals, and towards even trees and plants. So it is recognized in Buddhist teaching that we human beings, no doubt we are brilliant, we are intelligent, but we have freedom, but freedom comes with responsibility. So it is our responsibility to take care of the humankind, animal kind, and this whole planet. Buddhism recognizes that we cannot live alone. We are interdependent and interrelated. For that reason, there are many teachings found in the suttas that the Buddha encouraged his followers to live harmoniously with the nature without damaging. There are some specific rules for the Buddhist monks and nuns, and they are prohibited. For example, even cutting the branches of a tree. The Buddhist monks and nuns, they are not allowed to cut the trees or even break the branches. And we must live it harmoniously with this. But of course, these rules are not applicable for the lay people. But the Buddhist monks go to that extent to live it harmonious with the society. They are not allowed to dig the soil, and because they might destroy the other creatures. So they are supposed to live it harmoniously, peacefully. So there are many such precepts are also imposed by the Buddha for the monks and nuns to prevent pollution to the society. In the time of the Buddha, 2,500 years back, in fact, we did not have modern issues. But even so, we can see the Buddha's wisdom and his concern towards the environment. And there are precepts specifically prohibited spitting on the water or urinating in the water or defecating in the water or polluting the environment, kind of precepts and guidance. It is to prevent environmental pollution. Ultimately, when we recognize global warming and the war and all these disasters that we are going to face and we are facing already, can be narrowed down to human defilements, basically to greed, hatred, and delusion.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, brothers and sisters, let's pay respect to Bhante. Yeah. So, let Bhante pay respect to the Buddha image first. So let us have Bhante to share merits for the meritorious deed that we have did today, the teachings of the Buddha and the teachings of from the Dharma teaching from Bhante that all of us have benefited.
Shall we put our palms together? May the good devas rejoice over these merits. Having shared these merits, may the devas protect you, protect your loved ones, protect the dispensation of the Buddha. May the devas attain bliss of Nibbana.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Our departed relatives and friends, wherever they are, may they all share these merits. Having shared these merits, may they be free from worries and sufferings. Be well, be happy. May all our departed loved ones attain bliss of Nibbana.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
May the great blessings of the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha be upon all of you as well as your loved ones. May everyone be well and happy. May there be peace, happiness and success in your life. May these merits be helpful to refrain from the evil, to cultivate the good, to follow the noble path of the Buddha and attain bliss of Nibbana.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's pay true respect to Bhante.
Sabbhitiyo vivaccantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavattvantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava.
Sadhu, sadhu.